My name is John Hobby, and welcome to the Great Poker Chip Adventure. And today we're going to recommend the number one stock chip available today, and it is... Tune in this fall to find out. All right, guys. No, really, I'm kidding. All right. It is the end of the season. We are taking a break here. I have work, I have family activity, I have lots of stuff going on. That's just how life is. I might squeeze in a couple of videos, but really, it's going to pick up again this fall, and I will have the conclusion. But I'm not going to leave you hanging like that. However, I'm not going to give you the number one recommended chip, but I am going to eliminate a few of them for starters. It's about stock poker chips, all right? So automatically, group buy chips, chips that are discontinued, are eliminated straight away. And there are other chips that you see here that have not been reviewed that I am not going to review. Now, this represents more than just these bicycle poker chips, right? This represents all the chips that I just didn't like. There are tons of metal insert chips that I hated. I hate the design, I hate the weight, I hate the feel. I'm not going to review those. Dice chips, not a big fan. They serve their purpose. They're a very reasonable chip for what they are. They accomplish the same thing that any of these other chips do, but I don't like them. So I'm not going to review them. They're not going to be even close to my number one recommended. I hate metal insert chips, but I'm not going to push them off the screen just yet. Some of my friends really love them, especially this Claysmith one, the Desert Heat. They love this chip for some reason. They're just like, we love these. I don't see why you don't like them. But I don't like the manufacturing process. I don't like the way they feel. I don't like the extra weight. When you pick up a stack of them, they just feel too heavy. Not a huge fan. But for some of you, they will be very reasonable. So we'll leave those in. China clays, I'll leave those in. Kind of middle-class chips here. The Desert Palms represent all of the other China clays out there. There are several varieties. I'm going to leave the Desert Palms in. The Desert Palms are hard to find. I can tell you right now, they're not going to be my number one pick. But they're representing the other, like, for example, the Pharaoh or the Dune China clay sets that are currently available. I'm going to leave the Next Gen in. I like this chipset for what it is. It's a pretty inexpensive chip. However, it has its flaws. High-end ceramics, love them. Mid-end ceramics, kind of the middle-class chips, but they are the cheaper ceramics. I love these too. Even though the Scroll and the Crown Laurel are very similar in texture and feel, they have a different design, and I'm all for a variety of design. I like options. Now we get to the Key West. The Key West are kind of a boutique, kind of a connoisseur's poker chip set. They are stock, but they're not going to be my number one choice. I'm just going to eliminate them right now. What you're looking at here is what I'm going to use to make my selections, okay? The metal insert chips, I can tell you right now, are not going to be number one, but they may be recommended. China clays and ceramics. Those are what I'm going to be choosing from. I'm going to be playing with these a lot in the summer to give you plenty of data and information about my choices. Now I'd like to pose a question to everybody out there. Describe your perfect poker chip. It doesn't have to be an existing chip. You can make it up. Think of it as like, if they were to come out with a perfect poker chip, what would it be? Now, some things that I want from the perfect poker chip are maybe different than what you guys would want. Because I am a chip reviewer, doesn't make me an expert by any means, but because I review poker chips, I have maybe some different criteria here for the perfect poker chip than you would at home. For example, for me, the number one thing on my list is transparency from the company, all right? I want companies like PGI. I love PGI because they have transparency. Our ceramic chips are 100% lead-free. I love that. Thank you, PGI. They're the company that bought Chipco out. They make beautiful ceramics, lead-free. Don't worry about it. Love that. Okay, that's number one on my list. That's the most important thing I look for in a chip is how much transparency is there with the company. The other thing, number two, are materials. And that comes back to the lead-free. You need good materials, whether it be a China clay, whether it be a metal insert chip, whether it be a dice chip. If they're made out of good materials, to me, it's very important. Third, inlay. All right. Now I know throughout this whole series, I've been calling like coin inlay. I've been calling stickers. I've been calling referring to everything as an inlay just for consistency. But with an inlay, I'm talking about I want a hot set inlay that's set into the chip while the chip is hot, stamped in there, becomes a part of the chip. Paulson was a great example of that, discontinued. Classic Poker Chip Company still does that. I love that about the Key West chips, about the classic poker chips, all right? Third, as I was talking about inlay, the fourth is price. Now, if I'm priced out of the chip, meaning if they're more than like $2 a chip, just too much for a stock poker chip. $150, like the Key West again, is really pushing the limits. $130 is still pretty expensive. Anything, $1 or less per chip, if it's a high quality chip, I'm okay with that. Price can just be prohibitive sometimes when we're talking about what ultimately comes down to, score. This is just keeps track of score in our case because we, use it for play money. Then comes quality control. Yes, it's that far down on the list. Does it bother me that Milanos have little discrepancies as of 2015, early 2015, little discrepancies in their thickness? To me, that doesn't bother me as much as the lack of transparency from Claysmith. I wish they would come out and say, these are 100% lead-free. The Milanos are 100% lead-free. Don't worry about it. But they haven't advertised that yet openly on their website. And, if one employee shoots off a little email that says, oh, well, they're 100% lead-free, I don't know how much I would trust that. I would trust it more coming from a reputable lab saying, hey, these are lead-free. Quality control comes pretty low on the list, but it needs to be there. There needs to be some reasonable quality control. If not, there needs to be efforts to improve quality control. For example, Claysmith are making very public efforts to improve their quality control. Sixth is weight. Yes, I have kind of become maybe a snob, but weight's important. To me, the 15-gram coin inlay chip is just too heavy. I just do not like these chips, for a lot of reasons, but the weight being one of them. Too heavy. And the seventh item are the edges. I like good edges. I like clean cut, square edges with no imperfections. Like you compare lots of these, sorry, I bumped the camera. You compare lots of these metal insert chips, you can see the rough edges from the manufacturing process all over here. And you look at the Paulson edges, and they are just exquisite square edges. I really like the square edges and the clean edges over garbage edges, because one of the most common ways that you handle poker chips is you grab them by the edge. And if the edge feels like crap, the poker chips feel like crap. So to me, the edges are also on that list. And those are the 7 things that I came up with. Your list, I suspect, would be very different than my list of what you're looking for in a poker chip. And notice I didn't even mention design, because I'm expecting there to be a variety of design. For example, Paulson has always been pretty good about offering a variety of chips until now when they canceled them. Thanks a lot, Paulson. This is my selection. If you wanted to know what I'd recommend to people right now as far as what I'm looking at, I would say Milanos, Next Gens, and any of these ceramics. So there's, 7 sets here that I can highly recommend. The other sets that you see here, not so much. And again, remember that some of these represent lots of chips, like any other sort of china clay, whether it be dunes, pharaohs, any china clay, or any metal insert chip that really appeals to you. You get a sample set, you're okay with the texture, you like the feel of them. Absolutely, okay? Those are okay, but not my favorite. Just because I don't like them doesn't mean you won't like them. So hope that helps somebody out there. I will be back in the fall. Please subscribe. Please stay subscribed. We're going to bring you as much content as we can. Thank you so much for my subscribers. You guys are wonderful. The viewers that leave comments, I really appreciate you guys.